Hey guys, Doug here with your Week 9 MyStats Lab Problem 3 example. And let's go ahead and take a look at the problem here. A developer wants to know if the houses in two different neighborhoods were built at roughly the same time. She takes a random sample of 6 houses from each neighborhood and finds their ages from local records. And we'll look at those ages here in just a minute. I assume that the data come from a distribution that is normally distributed, and we're going to find a few things out here. The first thing, part A, asks us to test the null hypothesis with an alpha of 0.05. We're going to use the pooled t-test, and we need to identify the null and alternative hypothesis from the list that we have. Well, let's think about what we're doing here. What does the problem ask us, or what does it tell us? It tells us that a developer wants to know if the houses in two different neighborhoods were built at roughly the same time, which means the mean ages of these two neighborhoods would be the same. So in that case, our null hypothesis would be that the mean of 1, or the first neighborhood, minus the mean of the second neighborhood is 0. Therefore, our alternative hypothesis will be that the difference between the neighborhoods is not 0, or that there is a significant difference. But we're going to be talking about our null hypothesis here of the mean of neighborhood 1 minus the mean of neighborhood 2 is equal to 0. So let's go ahead and look at our data, and then we can decide whether we need to reject our null hypothesis or not. We can look at our data here. Neighborhood 1 and neighborhood 2, but we're going to let StatCrunch do this for us, and I've already copied and pasted that, so let me pull that up for us here. Here's our StatCrunch, and there are the two neighborhoods as variable 1 and variable 2. Well, let's look at our t-stat and our p-value, which will help us to decide whether we need to reject our null hypothesis or not. So we can go to our stats, t-stats. We have 2 samples, and we have the data here. So we'll click there. We're going to put variable 1 for our first sample, variable 2 for our second sample. We're doing pooled variances, and we are testing the hypothesis. So let's go ahead and just click compute, and here we have everything that we need. Problem asks us about our t-stat. Well, there it is. We can round that to 0.993, and we can also look at our p-value of 0.3443. From this information, we can decide what to do. Well, since our alpha is 0.05, our p-value is 0.3443, then we can say there is insufficient evidence to reject the claim that the mean age of houses is the same in the two neighborhoods. So therefore we do not have enough evidence to reject our null hypothesis. So there we go, part A. Part B asks us to look at a 95% confidence interval. Well, we can do that from here also. I'm just going to exit this part. We can go back to the same place, t-stats, 2 sample with our data. Again, we'll put variable 1 there, variable 2 in sample 2, but this time we're going to do a confidence interval, and let's see what we come up with. So we'll click compute again, and there we have our limits. So we can say our 95% confidence interval is negative 7.47 when we round, and the upper limit is going to be 19.47. So our 95% confidence interval, negative 7.47 as a lower, 19.47 as the upper. So there you go. Stats Crunch does that for us very easily. And I'm going to go back to our problem here so we can look at it. But we are down to part C. And in part C, it says a 95% confidence interval for the mean difference in ages of the houses in the two neighborhoods was the given. We found negative 7.47 as a lower, 19.47 as the upper. So for our answer, when it asks us, is the result different from the result of the pooled T confidence interval, we'll say no. The two methods will result in essentially the same confidence intervals and hypothesis tests. So there you go. That is all there is to your MyStats Lab Week 9 homework problem 3. This is Doug. I hope you had fun. We'll see you next time.